Welcome to Safe and Sound, sponsored by White Mountain Fire and Life Safety. Today on the show, we have Kirk Webb, Community Risk Manager for Timber Mesa, and Kelley Wood, Fire Marshal for Pinetop Fire. Welcome to the show, guys.
Good morning.
Welcome.
It's always good to have you guys on here,
Great.
Oh.
It's great to be here.
and especially when we're talking about fire prevention.
That's right.
Yes.
The fun stuff.
The fun stuff. Yes, I liked how you said that. You're the fun stuff guy, right?
That's right. That's the fun cop.
Yes.
The fun cop. Yeah, so what is going on in the fire prevention world? It's been a while.
Yeah, October is always the month that we get into all the schools, and of course we do our safety village that we've been taking into the local schools, and not just Blue Ridge and Sholo, but some of the charter schools, and getting to all the kids, and it's not just us with the fire departments going in and talking to them. We include all different kinds of agencies: police, law enforcement, county health departments, emergency management, Navapache Electric, APS. So anybody that's willing to participate and work with us, we want to. It's kind of a fun day for the kids to come out, and they get a variety of safety messages.
Now, Navapache Electric comes out and they bring out their whole trailer, right?
The big trailer with the hot dogs, and they cook them, and well, see, no, that's APS, I believe.
Well, they both have. They both have one.
They do have
yeah.
one now. I know,
Yeah.
but they used to. Navapache used to have a little thing about the size of your table, but it was it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've upgraded.
They've upgraded to the big one, and they
put that on steroids.
Zap it, and it's actually on steroids. Is what it is.
Yeah, usually I see Sally out there with the Navapache, and that's actually pretty neat. I mean, I remember APS had brought it out once for the fire department, and it was just cool to see as adults, like kids.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that.
And actually, even a lot of adults can learn from that thing too.
Oh,
absolutely.
I mean, it's absolutely.
And firefighters.
Yeah.
I mean, electricity is not your friend.
Right.
No, it's
well,
not.
and they will, because the thing that we teach to all of our guys, and anybody for that matter, is can you see electricity? Yeah. You don't know if that's energized or not until you touch it.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it.
No.
Exactly right. And you don't know, and you have to make sure that everything's shut down before you go into a scene. So you don't want to mess with that stuff.
So October's pretty full with safety villages then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much takes the whole month.
Wow.
So instead of, nationwide they call it Fire Prevention Week, but we've kind of stretched it out to
expanded a little bit.
Well, we're so rural, you have to go all
and you
over.
go all over.
Yeah.
And then we're starting, there's a lot of other places that want us to come out and do it. Also, like in Apache County, Holbrook, Winslow.
And then usually in those areas are the resources that come in and
in
teach
from
it?
those areas,
Yeah.
We'll set those up to, with them and the local fire departments there. And this is what you got to do.
But I think like last year, I think we made contact with all the different events we did in October, roughly 3,500 students.
Yes.
That is awesome.
So
that is awesome. And the kids love it.
yeah,
Yes.
and the teachers do too. And I know the first year we brought this out, the concept and the idea, and they were like, I don't think they quite understood. Either I didn't explain it well enough or something, but it's like, how are you going to keep students? You can't. You're gonna. That's two and a half hours.
Yeah.
There's no way you can keep them entertained. I said, no, we're good like that, right?
Yeah. We are good.
Did you babysit them?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much, no. But they, when you have one class and you set them up into one little station, and they, for 15, 20 minutes, or maybe even 10 minutes, depends on how many classes we have and how many students, and then, we can do that, and then just rotate them every 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
the longest one is actually, I think, the smoke trailer.
Yes.
I mean, because that takes the most time.
And we actually got away from using the smoke trailer just because it was so hard to run a whole entire class of 30 students.
Yeah.
And to be effective with that. So we use that for other events now.
Yes.
Just singly.
Right. And
Yes.
so we
So it's good to
use,
focus on it.
yeah. We use and we typically will follow whatever the National Fire Protection Association or NFPA it's much easier to say NFPA. But whatever their theme is, so the last 3 years it's been about smoke detectors and different components. Like last year was smoke detectors are only good for 10 years, and how many people actually remember or even know that?
Most people call it pollen.
But I just thought a smoke detector would last forever as long as you change the batteries.
Well,
no.
and then here's the other thing too.
Well,
it's like
can't be guaranteed.
when you go and push the button, you're testing the smoke detector, right? No, you're testing the battery.
That's all you test.
Oh, so you don't even know.
Yeah, and there's in what's the activating part of the smoke detector is a little radioactive particle in there. So after 10 years, it may or may not work.
Dang.
So
you don't want to be wasting those battery checks and those, you know.
Well, no, you still need to check the batteries. You still got to check the battery
once a month.
But if you go after 10 years.
Yeah, but you're not.
Now on the back of it, when you put it, you know, like if you take it off, you can actually unscrew them and look at it. There's a date on them.
They have a birth date.
They have a birth date. Yeah.
So it'll tell you how old that smoke detector is.
So that's very interesting about smoke detectors. I would have never.
Right, and even a lot of our firefighters didn't know this information. You know, and so we educate our own people too as well when we're doing these things, and it's interesting what people know or think they know. And it's interesting. I remember one class that we talked to. And the girl in the class was just intent and listening. She went home, and the dad, and she made him go to the store and get new detectors because they weren't going to go to sleep until they had new detectors in their home.
That's awesome.
And
as a parent, that sucks.
Just from what they learned in class, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, and you know, of course, the dad was kind of, but in the end, he was grateful because because who's watching us in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep?
Safety, and I can tell you, one of my kids, the earth could shake and she wouldn't wake. A bomb could go off next to the house, she wouldn't wake up. So
wait till she turns into a teenager.
I know. Well, that's my 2-year-old. Keeps going back to bed. I'm like, pull the covers off of her. Now, what about carbon monoxide detectors? Or is it? Yeah.
Well, you got carbon monoxide detectors, and
because we have one that plugs into the wall.
Right, and there's lots of varieties of carbon monoxide detectors. They even have some that are carbon monoxide plus smoke detectors, all in one type of deal. But I'm still old school because smoke goes up, and carbon monoxide is heavier than air. But when you're buying any kind of device for safety, just look on there and see if it has that UL United Laboratories stamp on there. Or one of those testing laboratories, because then you know that company has spent typically millions of dollars in testing that product to make sure it's going to function properly and safely and effectively, more often than it doesn't. Because and then they're always checking for recalls on those things too. So those companies that have those stamps on there, the United Laboratory stamp, and it's a big UL with a circle around it, so it's pretty easy to spot.
I know what you're talking about.
So when you see those on there, that device has been tested, and it should be safe.
Once the smoke detector or carbon monoxide detector goes off, is it no good? Like you can use it again? Because I've had that with my carbon monoxide detector. I spaced it, but I was emptying out my fireplace, and it was cold, and I put it in the bucket, and I was like, oh, I'll take it out later, and I had to run to the store and come back. I ran to the store and I come back, and I'm walking up to the house, and it's like beep, 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 and I'm like, what the heck? And I go in, and you see the coals are starting to get hot in my house. I'm like, oh my gosh! But I took them outside, obviously.
You didn't put them on a wooden deck, though, did you?
No. I tossed them in the snow.
Good. That's a good
place.
Yeah.
But no, and that's where we always tell people, look at the instructions. It'll tell you if it goes off, because some of them will give you a warning that the battery's just low. Some of them, but how are you going to know that unless you have the instructions? Now, the nice thing about the internet, you can usually go and look up all these instructions and stuff like that. So if you have tossed the instructions, and you can usually go back and find them and read them, and it'll tell you whether it's a bad device, a faulty device, because occasionally you will have one that goes bad. A smoke detector will go bad and it doesn't ever reset itself or doesn't air out.
You know how you got these ones that are in the house now that they're all hooked together?
Yeah.
One goes off, they all go off.
Yes.
And then you got to figure out which one's going off. And it's basically the same thing. One of them could be a bad one out of a whole batch, but you never know.
Yeah, I remember that from my years in firefighting, trying to go into a house and figure out which one it is.
Which one it was and stuff, yes.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Process of elimination.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So with the Safety Village, you guys have been doing it for quite some time.
Yeah,
how many years now?
I think this is, I think we started it back in about 2010.
Somewhere like that, yeah, back
so,
That's a long
time. You know, and it started up in Blue Ridge is our first place where we started it, and then we've been expanding from there.
It was really funny when they started up, because a lot of teachers said, well, we don't want to do that, you know, we just, you know.
Yeah.
And then,
now they love it.
Yeah.
And then they could, that day when they really saw what was going on,
Can we sign up?
Can we sign up for this? You know,
well, and you guys have a lot of agencies that want part of that. I mean,
yes,
you
yeah,
fill up pretty
typically
quick,
about
right?
16, 17 different agencies
Jeez.
that work with us, and because they all can't show up at the same time.
Right.
No, but
so
that's
we
awesome.
can scatter them through different days
Right.
and different schools and different, you know, around like that.
Well, but the kids, like you had said earlier, the kids are getting not just fire prevention, not just you know the electricity, not just healthcare, not you know
they're getting everything.
Wood safety. What there's one guy.
Well,
that
we
comes
got
out.
game and fish.
Game
we
and
got
fish,
we
yeah.
got one guy that came and talked about hiking safety and camping safety.
Yes, I remember that.
So
Yes.
yeah, just we look for all different kinds of ideas because, and the reason why we created the Safety Village was because we noticed that we're all fighting to get into the schools, and schools that have their time is so precious, and they didn't want to put something special just for this group, and then Forest Service trying to get in there, and
So
law enforcement. So it's like, you know what? Let's work together on this thing, and we can all
and they all decide, well, you know, what if we can't do it this day? Well, we can set you up for another school on a different day.
Yeah.
And you know, if you can't make it this day, that's fine. You know, and we'll put somebody else in that slot, and then we'll make you, you know, we'll have you come over here if you can make that slot. You know, and you don't have to be in the same place all the time. You know, that was the good part about it.
Yeah.
And so, and you guys have some possible future exciting things that might be coming to the mountain.
We do.
Yeah, we're just going to grow it bigger.
Well, working with Banner Desert Hospital out of Mesa.
Mesa. Yes.
They got a grant and were able to create this safety town. So it's kind of like our safety village on steroids.
It really is. It's huge. I was down there 2 weeks ago, when it debuted, the first
Did you help them set it up, or did you?
No, I didn't have to help them set up. I just had to show up, and it only took about an hour to set up, from what I understand. And they had enough people there, but it has streets, it has, and they got little people that have cars wrapped around them, and they're the cars, and they have to obey the traffic laws. And they got pedestrians, and they got pedestrian lights and crosswalks and all kinds of stuff. Then they got little houses around the area, and then you got businesses, and each business is a different. Like they have the fire station, and then you have a different something else set up next to it, and all the way around the whole thing. It's really cool.
And each one will have a little safety message that you can sit there and watch.
Each one has a safety.
So the kids would go around it like they do yours.
It was
great. I was
great.
thinking, how the
Just
heck
tour
do you
the
manage
town.
that?
Oh, yeah.
Tour the town.
Tour the town.
And basically what it was. And this thing sets up in the size of a basketball court, a full-size basketball court.
Wow.
Is that cool?
I want to come and go town to town.
So we're hoping to get that brought into the schools this year.
Tracy Feet is one of the the one who actually I want to say owns it.
Arranged for
the grant and everything for it, and she manages it and everything. And she's one of the coordinators down there at Desert Banner.
Oh, wow.
And it's incredible, though.
What a great opportunity to hopefully get that up here.
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot, hopefully.
Yes.
We'll see.
And hopefully further, other years down the road, because this is not going to go away anytime soon that we know of. So
it'll be all over the valley. It'll be all over Phoenix. And she wants to bring it up here. And it's just a matter of timing and when she can get it up here.
Yeah.
Depends on how hot it gets down the valley.
We'll take it all summer, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Nothing will melt.
She could travel up here. The only thing is the motel costs me a lot because she usually stays at my house.
Wonderful. Free food, everything. That's nice. Kelley, you got this. Thank you very much.
Yes, I do. She's pretty cool.
That's exciting. And then you're also talking about possibly bringing out this Miss Who?
Oh, should we go?
Oh no, we're looking to upping our repertoire of things that we can do. We're looking at doing some clowns, characters, puppets to add into our public education,
which is awesome.
And so yeah,
you guys are just expanding this to.
We want
we have to.
We need the variety of things, and not just for the kids. We're actually looking at stuff to take to the elderly adults and to anybody out in the public for that matter, and talk about slips, trips, and falls, and but we want to bring some comedy and some fun into the mix, and not just drab. Listen to this guy talk PowerPoint, death by PowerPoint.
Well, and if you make learning fun, you learn.
Right.
Yes,
and that's,
you do.
And
you make it interactive with them too, so that way, and anybody can get involved in it.
You're going to put firefighters out of business.
Well, that's our job.
That's our job, basically.
is to try to keep them from going on calls and mitigating the risks out in our community. That's why that's what that's where my name for my job position comes from, is community risk manager. So I've got to find those risks and try to get rid of them.
Yeah.
It really doesn't stand for can't remember much.
It's very applicable, yes. Can't remember much. That happens, but no, yeah. So in the future, we might see an appearance from Mrs. Dousefire.
Mrs. Dousefire, yes.
Dousefire.
Which is, I'm so excited to see.
So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, we got some other characters that we're working on, and
other agencies.
Working with a hospital,
Yes.
We got some volunteers that's coming on board with us that are excited about this, and so we're looking for some fun stuff.
Yes. You're really taking this and like
grab the bull by the horns, right?
Yeah, it's very impressive. It's very exciting, and I look forward to seeing what's out there, and hopefully I can help a little too. I'd love to.
You helped start this.
Yeah.
You helped start this years ago.
Yeah, but it's exciting.
Yes.
It's so exciting to see where it's at, and it's so exciting that my children get to see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now with the little boy, they're all gonna. I mean, as a parent, wow, you can get through to my kids.
Yeah.
And you can help my kids, and kids get through to their parents. Just like you said, the kid that went home and made his dad buy all smoke detectors.
That's right.
Well, we've had that. We've had other things. We go into classes. We teach CPR to the kids. We teach them as a mass class.
Yeah.
What ages?
Usually starting around 10 years old.
Yeah, we'll teach whatever age.
Whatever age. But I mean,
we just recently certified all the freshman class at Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
but we've gone in as low as 5th grade.
5th, 6th grade.
Fifth grade, I think, was the first one that we did over at Blue Ridge, when they were still back over on the main campus. But
yay! So like, I'm thinking like for my daughter when she becomes a babysitter, I'm like, you have to have CPR.
You have to have
this stuff. You have to know. And
There's
even having a baby, like I would like Audrey. She's 9, and she's a smart kid. I'd like her to know what to do. I mean, and I could tell her, but when your parent tells you, and I'm not a licensed teacher, it's just
in one ear and out the other. It's like,
when they hear it
Look
from
for the
somebody
skid
else,
marks.
and that's why we do a lot of the
And take more
programs that we
serious.
do, because the kids listen to firefighters for whatever reason.
I still don't have that figured out.
And so we're gonna use that to our advantage as much.
we do.
We all have kids.
we all have kids.
Yeah.
Of course, mine are older now, but
Lucky
they still.
dog.
They're still. And actually,
Now they're having kids.
Actually, one of mine is having kids, and she's actually already asking me which is the best car seat
Yes.
out there. And,
which is important, and you
which
guys
is really important.
Speaking of car seats, do
we
you guys
still
do?
We do a car seat
tests.
program.
Yes, we do.
And
Still do
you
that.
provide the car seat.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
we
Sometimes?
don't give away free car seats.
No.
That's that.
Yes.
So what we do is we have a class. In fact, it's the last Wednesday of every month, and we have them go through the education. We educate the parents or caregiver how to install it correctly, and if there's a need, and they qualify, then we can give them a seat, and we have seats available.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you have seats available. I know where they're all stored. I hear it from public health. We're moving things around right now.
Yes.
So, but
and they're
absolutely.
nice car seats.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're nice.
They're very nice.
Yeah.
The Governor's Office of Highway Safety has given us a lot of seats, and like I said, and that's why we don't call them free car seats.
No.
We don't. So their payment is come and get educated.
Yeah,
Yes.
and learn.
Right.
From
And
it.
they have to
You
learn
take
how
a
to
test
install
or
it.
anything.
We're not going to install it for them.
Right.
No, you're right.
They have to do it. We will check it for them, but then they have to, because we'll, if they don't do it right, we'll unblock it and say do it again. It's just, something was wrong here. Let's take care of it.
And again, that's part of the community risk management
Right.
because
Yes.
we do have child fatalities. I work
Yes.
with the medical examiner, and you
Yes.
see what comes into the office, and it's heartbreaking because a
Yes, it
seatbelt
is.
saves lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Having your child buckled in properly with the proper car seat for the right size, everything will save that child's life. They're fragile.
And if we buckle it up for the parent, it gets done correctly one time. If we educate the parent, now is it done correctly
every time.
more often?
I
And the
would-
attention is every time.
Not just parents, but grandparents need
Oh, yes.
need this education because
Yes.
I I don't want to throw, I don't know if it was my mom or my dad, I don't want to throw them on the bus, but they buckled the kid in, and I got home and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, this is loose.
We will have grandparents that will come and go through the education quite often.
Good.
And we're seeing a trend where grandparents are becoming the caregivers.
That breaks my heart.
And so, and they're taking an interest, because when they grew up and had their kids, the car seats weren't,
That was the seatbelt. That was the seatbelt.
Exactly.
You know?
And car seats weren't really that, common. So yeah, it's important that and we are seeing a lot of grandparents wanting and learning, and like we always say, that prevention begins with education.
Yes.
Yes. 100% agree with that. That's exciting, and seatbelts do save lives. I've seen somebody ejected out of a car at 25 miles an hour. So put your seatbelt on.
Yep.
It's not.
It's like that poster I have hanging in my office. It says "Babies can fly."
Yeah.
Once.
Oh, that breaks my heart. Yes. But that's really powerful.
It is.
They're very powerful. So I want to see if we can talk about maybe more of fire prevention from the home, because you did bring this nice safety checklist.
This is something that we're getting going now, that our little home safety checklist, that we're a program that we're hoping that we can get our crews, as they're going in and going on medical calls, because that's typically 80-90% of our call volume. But if it's something that's not serious and they're not having to go to the hospital right away or something like that, or we'll stay a little extra and ask them, hey, would you like us to do a home safety survey? And if they do, great. And then the firefighters will have a checklist that they can go through and work with the homeowner, or we can just leave the brochure with the homeowner, and
they can go through and do it themselves.
Yeah, it's got a self-checklist thing that they go through and check it off themselves. Some nice reminders and things that we teach the kids, and also people can call in to schedule and have the crews, hey, I'd like them to just come to my house and do a safety inspection. We've been doing for several years now. We've been doing the outside checks.
Outside the homes, for the
which has been very successful.
We live in the forest.
It's been very successful, and we've gained some communities that are now Firewise communities.
Yeah, red tag, green tag.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that was part of it. And then to become the Firewise community, it's a lot more involved in that. And we got a grant we're working on right now. We're going into people's houses and people in areas to thin out. And help them out. So
Firewise Adapted Communities, that's actually nationally recognized. So that little subdivision community within the town or city
can put their little plaque up and say,
so they can.
Do we have any things like that yet that have gotten a plaque?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
And we're working
on. High five to that neighborhood.
That's right. And we're trying to get some more too throughout town.
Yeah, we're trying to get all through the whole area. So
that is awesome.
So along with the outside check around your house, well, we thought, why is it not just as important to check the inside too?
We get a lot of fall injuries. A lot of them are not outside. A lot of them are inside the home. So
simple things like rugs, extension cords. Those are huge trip hazards.
You don't think about.
Yeah.
Well, they don't think about it.
Yeah, they don't
we
think
do,
about
but
it.
they don't.
That's true. That's true.
Extension cord? No, get rid of it.
But so it's just a simple checklist to kind of go through. A fire hazard that most people tend to forget, the lint in your dryer.
Oh, see, we have a 2-year-old. That's her favorite job. And anytime I open them up, there's not enough to take off. Oh no, she's the lint queen.
She'll find it.
She'll find it.
But then you got brushes now that you can go down inside, and
to the exhaust tube.
To the exhaust tube.
Never done that.
Yeah.
Need to.
And you need to, like on the outside of the house, if you could pull that vent off of there and vacuum that out.
Clean it from the outside.
From the outside. You got to have a long enough hose.
And that is a very common source of ignition for home fires.
Wow.
So,
I would tell
so simple things like that.
One of my daughters had a fire in her house over in San Diego.
Because of that?
Because of that, yes.
Wow. Everybody's okay, right?
Oh,
Everything's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. They were able to catch it.
Well, yeah, she washed a pillow and threw it in the dryer, and it was one of those pillows I guess she didn't want to do that with. Well, she said it was only for 5 minutes.
Oh wow!
And it lit up, but the tubing and the way it was in an apartment, and the way the tubing goes up and then over and then turns and goes out and goes around a corner.
It got caught.
Way too many corners, and when they put it up there, so it was.
Well, I almost had a fire in my house, and I had to call Timber Mesa probably 3 years ago. We had a dishwasher installed, and they didn't install it right to where the wire was exposed or the heat coil was exposed, and it was hitting the back of my wall. Sure. And my babysitter turned it on, and I went to work, and she called me. She's like, "It smells like smoke in here." So I went home, and I was like, it smells like smoke. And I found it, and then you'd see like little smoke every time we turn it on. It didn't take much.
No.
It was on for a couple minutes, and then you'd start to see the smoke come up. So I had the guys come out and pull things out and
pull everything out.
Yeah,
and redo it all. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the way. And that's sometimes the way you find stuff. You know, there's a lot of recalls. There's recalls on everything and everything out there. So before you buy something, it's a good thing to check the recalls on it.
And make sure you save
sure
the information on it.
Yes,
definitely.
Information.
Wow. So this is exciting.
This is
and
a
so
great
how
thing to
long has
have.
this been going on?
It's brand new. We got it finished, and we're still rolling it out and working on.
Since I'm part of a neighborhood, I'm like, I want a plaque in my neighborhood. That would be cool. I mean, do I go from house to house and be like, hey, you guys want to do this?
And actually, you can.
Yeah. Just hand them it.
You know, and there's all kinds of information for the whole community.
Do you give these to kids to take home to their parents?
So,
or?
No, this is something that this isn't part of the fire adapted communities.
Okay, all right.
So this is just something we kind of created on our own, so that we can actually work on getting into the, providing more service to our community, because one of the things we have noticed, we've picked up a few house fires, unfortunately, and so we started looking at the data. What are some of these house fires from?
What's causing them?
Yeah, some of them in electrical, things like that. So we looked at kind of the common hazards in electrical and overloading of circuits and different things like that. Bad wiring, not wired properly, different things like that.
How was your winter this year? Did you guys have like chimney fires?
It actually wasn't too bad.
No?
Actually,
okay.
yeah, people are starting to, they get the idea of, maybe we should clean the chimney out. Awesome. And the chimney fires, that we get are also, they become attic fires.
Yes.
Because some of the stuff that nobody really inspects the chimneys that well.
Well, it sounds like what you guys are doing is awesome. It's really helping keep the community safe. And I just want to thank you. I mean, I could spend hours talking to you guys. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. This is good information. And if they need to get a hold of either one of you,
they can call us at the office.
Yeah, the office.
At Timber Mesa or Pinetop Fire.
Yes.
Yeah, ours is 928-537-5100.
And ours is 928-367-2199.
All right. Thank you for watching Safe and Sound, and we'll see you next month.